Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Saminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnava Paschatadeshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Class now.
Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Hare Krishna,
Hare
dear
Krishna.
devotees, Prabhus and mothers. Ajit Prabhu, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Amaniya Prabhu, Mother Anastasia, Joy Prabhu, Mathura Prabhu, Mother Sushilpa, Philip, Mother Dandakesh, Mother Aruni, Charles, Showman Prabhu. All are welcome. Please accept my humble obeisances. Vachakalpatarvesha Vipasindhave Vachapatidanam Pavanibha Vaishnavibha. So this session is for Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, and I hope you all are aware where we stopped last week. So last week we stopped at I think text 6, 5, 4, 5 we finished. Text 6 we are going to start today. So just to refresh, let us offer our obeisances to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara all the way to Shri Radha Shyamsundar. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nitam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki. I hope you know the translation of this. That if you pay obeisances and do Guru Puja to Srila Prabhupada every day, and hear Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita every day, it didn't say how many pages or how many slokas or how many chapters, but if you do it nittam, then almost all purification will be done. Almost all means certain thing you have to do voluntarily, intensely. Few things will never go away, like purifying your own desire. You have to come on your own that you don't want anymore those. So it says almost all. So this is beautiful. Then we chant Om Jnanati Mirandhasa Genanjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namo Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathannitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschat Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhesha Kripa Sindhupayeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare
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 Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Hare.
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
Hare
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 Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Rama.
Rama, Hare Hare. So chapter 9, chapter 9. It's interesting that our great Acharya Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur, he explains that when we hear the spiritual scripture, Shastra, how does it actually affecting us? If we are not fully aware, we may be missing it that it's actually happening and we are not aware. More we are aware, we will value it and we'll see the effect and then we'll appreciate, then it will work better. You will really feel satisfied. So that's very important to know that it's affecting and it's working. So he said to look at this way that practically you can see in your life anything that you learn, it's supposed to produce some action. Just like Prabhupada says, you listen from me that I am thirsty, I need a glass of water. And you are sitting down there, and if I ask you a question, did you hear me? Say yes. But you still sitting down and listening that I'm thirsty, I need a glass of water, but you're not taking any action. Then as a result, that knowledge will never give you purification and never will give you satisfaction. So then, of course, you get up and bring glass of water, and then you'll see that Prabhupada is satisfied and you have served your guru like that. So a similar way, Baladev Vidyabhushan gives an idea that before you do any spiritual progress, first that you gather idea from scriptures, from the teachers, from acharyas. You get first idea. Then the movement of the mind will start, not the body. The mind will contemplate. What was the discussion? What is all about? Like that. And after movement of the mind, then the body or our body will follow. Body will follow. So first we conceive of doing something. Actually, this is realism. First you conceive to do something, then the movement of the mind movement of the mind, and then body starts acting according to your decision. So the idea leads us. The idea is all important. Whatever idea we may follow, then the mind, then the body, and everything will follow as far your, money or whatever, your other things. They will come at the end. Now, when people come to temple, or generally we think, we take, generally they give their money, some donation in the temple, or you distribute books, you're giving knowledge, you get some money. So people in exchange, they offer something. But actually giving time to hear idea is very good. So book also does that, when hopefully they will read the book and they give their time, and then they hear, and then they start contemplating. So this is how actually spiritual progress from beginning to end. Same principle, that more we hear, more we understand, more we like to apply it. And more we apply, then our mind will literally agree, and then with intelligence we'll make the decision, and the body will follow, the senses will follow, and then things will start happening. Chapter 9, in the beginning, we discussed that sloka 1 was Lord Krishna's wonderful explanation, that how if you want to understand this spirituality, you have to bring something with you, that is called non-enviousness. Now, do I have non-enviousness mood? Well, you can check. And these are the check formula we discuss. I hope you remember. Few point is like, you don't feel to commit offense to others. You can detect yourself, because this is very interesting how Krishna says that, Arjuna, because you are non-envious, I will reveal. And one day Acharya said that Krishna only revealed the secret. Otherwise we hear Bhagavad Gita, but it does not reveal in the heart. So Krishna says, because you are non-envious, this transcendental knowledge will be revealed. So, how do you know? I mean, I cannot know about you, but I can know about me whether I am non-envious or not. Well, first symptom is, see if you are not at all interested to make any offenses to any devotee or anybody. Second is, you don't consider the demigod is independent, and you don't have a doubt on Krishna's supremacy. That's a very heavy statement, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes. And then third is, show appropriate respect to all your spiritual teacher. Whoever the spiritual teacher, because in Bhagavatam we see how Brahmaji, Indra offend his guru, he kills his guru, the priest, bishop. Anyway, list goes on. There is some enviousness against leaders, against spiritual teachers comes. Then fourth, appropriately honoring the scriptures. If you feel like I'm going to read only Bhagavad Gita, I don't care about other books. I'm not saying you are saying it, but if you feel like this, so these are the way you can detect whether you are envious. Because if you are envious, the spiritual knowledge, it will not stay, it will not reveal. Reveal means it will not manifest, visible in your forefront, like, yeah, I understand this now. And if you say, yeah, I forget everything I hear, it doesn't retain. Sometimes I don't remember anything. Just like that person in Alachua, middle of the night, somebody attacked his house through the window and grab his neck, showing his knife, and his friend is searching something in the house. He still doesn't know what. Anyway, next day he called me and told me the whole thing happened. So I asked him, when did you remember Krishna? Just tell me exactly when did you remember? You were sleeping, two guys jumped through the window because it was good weather. He wanted to leave the window open. So, and one guy grabbed your neck. Okay. When did you think of Krishna? He said, it's the biggest challenge to think like this, that the moment other guy say, let's go, and he released my neck with his one hand, other hand, he's showing me knife. I started thinking, oh, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So what did you do before? I was just thinking how to release myself. What can I do? Where is my cell phone? But my hand, I cannot reach. I don't want to move because I don't want him, he can see his knife showing. Okay, so almost danger is over. Then you think of Krishna. Are we supposed to think during danger, before danger, or as soon we face the danger? You can calculate now, but after the fact. But when really incident come or something happened to your life, when do you really think? Well, we should think all the time. Okay, it's good to say, but do you really do it? Maybe not. So you think like that. Then show appropriate respect to the spiritual precept. Okay. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, give up unnecessary argument. You have an unnecessary argument. Like, why is like this in this temple? Why that devotee act like this? You have a, like an unnecessary argument. Really is not important, but you like to argue. Number 6, does not engage in sinful activity on the strength of the holy name. You really follow for equality principle, in other words. Number 7, does not consider pious activity such as, material, whatever, feeding poor, needies, some kind of austerities. Like I know some people, they do every Monday fasting. And I asked Dr. Shet, I said, why you do every Monday fasting? He said, I'm doing this from childhood. I said, why? It's good for me. I said, okay, something is always good for you. But why not Ekadashi and follow those rules, regulation, which is bhakti? But it's okay. We don't want to discourage them. But you don't give importance the spiritual fasting days. You just do whatever you like. Then number 9 is you have complete faith in the holy name. And number 10 is you don't identify yourself as a body or the mind. You really meditate on yourself as a spiritual being. So if one of those 10, all these 10 points should be out from your heart. Then you can say, my name is non-envious devotee. And if you can claim my name is non-envious devotee, then you will actually dive into spiritual scriptures. Krishna says, I'm not saying it. If you read the first verse of this chapter that we started, first verse Krishna says, spiritual revelation will take place. Okay. Then second verse we discuss about how this discussion, this whole concept of Bhagavad Gita is the king of education, king of confidential knowledge, is the most purest and is transcendental, and you can actually directly experience this. It's not like I was chanting for 10 years now. I don't know. I don't remember what happened. That's not possible. It should be direct experience. Now, if you say, well, it didn't happen, then let's sit down. How it didn't happen? Something went wrong. You did not go. Then on the third verse, we got scared that if you don't have a faith, you are doomed. It's not fault of anybody. It's your fault. If you don't have a faith, you are doomed. Doomed mean, I don't mean in a harsh way, means you will keep on taking birth, death, old age, disease. That's it. So what should I do? Have faith on Bhagavad Gita. Every word in Bhagavad Gita, okay, if you say, how do you artificially have faith? Then keep your heart open. Okay, this is, I may not understand, at least accept it and just leave it and go from there. Don't just deny, I don't. Even it doesn't make sense. Because suspension of the natural order alone is a miraculous. Natural order itself is a miraculous too. Faith is something you can get from two sources we discussed before. One source is, anybody remembers in the audience? How do you get faith? I did mention this. I'm going to mention this million times until everybody really hammered in their heart. How do you develop faith? How do you get faith? Two sources.
Hare Krishna. I'm going
Hare
to
Krishna, Mother Anastasia, Mother Ina, nice to see you all.
We're so happy to see you. From someone who already has faith.
Good answer. This is 17 chapter, 27 verse, last verse. Prabhupada talks about it in the purport, very details. He said, faith is same as love of God. Wow, that's scary. Because if you don't have a faith, then you don't have a love of God. Because faith matures and develops further to different stages and it transforms into love of God. Yes, you get faith from Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, from three sources you get. But there is also another way you can develop faith. Who remembers?
Experience.
That's true, but
That's
Krishna said
true, but
directly.
Krishna said directly.
Through the process of following the regulative principles of chanting, reading.
Yeah, those are also experience, yes. 7.21 in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, if you develop a desire to worship someone, I will give you faith. So if you want to worship Krishna, Krishna will give you faith. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta saddaya archita ichchati tasya tasya achalam saddha bhidadami aham. You want to worship Krishna, you develop a desire, and Krishna says Krishna will give you that faith. So it is not anymore really blaming, well, I don't have a faith. Well, who is stopping you to develop a desire? It's up to you. You develop a desire, Krishna says he will give you faith. And I see that. I pray, I want this, my Lord. Please, please give me this. Please, my Lord, please. And I see Krishna actually helps. Krishna give you strong belief in it. Charles, you wants to say something, please?
I was going to say practice.
Yes, practice is also true. Practice will make you perfect eventually. If it is a perfect practice, then it will make it. If it is a correct practice, it will make. That's true. Experience will, as Mathura Prabhu said, day-to-day practice. Those are correct. But something Krishna directly said. Because I tell you why. Because faith is the bridge. Build a bridge from where you are and where you want to go. You want to go to back home, back to Godhead, you have to build a bridge. But that bridge has to be built on that faith. More you have a faith, more you have bhakti. What is the difference between pure devotee and non-devotee? Faith. What is the difference between neophyte and purest? Mahabhagavat. Faith. Mahaprabhu says faith is such a strong word, or it's the most important, you can say. You can contemplate what is faith, what is trust, what is belief. These are all very important. Now on this, it's interestingly, according to that verse, the 721, it is a matter of your choice. Faith is a matter of human choice. Along with the faith is also gift. Faith is a result of grace. You can look at many ways to think about it. But one truth is, if you want faith from a guru or an advanced devotee, well, you cannot force that devotee to give you faith. I mean, they generally do, but you cannot force. You may have to wait. But to make a choice, I want faith on Krishna. I want faith on chanting. I want to have. You don't have to wait. You can develop right now. Have a strong. I do this, Prabhu's and Mother, and it works. It really works. Faith, we get knowledge. Faith, and the knowledge, we get faith. So it goes vice versa. Many things. Shastra gives faith. Sadhu gives faith. Guru gives faith. Yes, faith is a very big deal. As Mother Anastasia said, faith is created by the association with devotees. Yes. We should always think like this. It is only by faith that one can advance in Krishna consciousness. Period. Prabhupada says this in 9.3 on the third verse that we are talking. In the purport, he writes, it is only by faith that one can advance in Krishna consciousness. It should not scare us. It should make us happy that yes, I need to have a faith. Of course, Prabhupada gives certain scientific explanation also. Faith means unflinching trust in something sublime. You know, the word sublime? I don't know. All of you understand sublime. I was looking in the dictionary one time. I learn every day. I try to learn English words sometime. Sublime is like a solid rock. Like a heart is hard-hearted, we express. I don't have any feeling for this. So we say like this. So like a hard-hearted, okay. So hard rock, you grind it, make it semi-liquid. Or you can say semi-solid. From solid, semi-solid, because you're working hard. Then semi-solid to semi-liquid. Then liquid. Then evaporate. disappear. The hard rock through the process completely disappear. This whole process is called sublime. In one word, Prabhupada writes. I was like, wow. Prabhupada used that word. Sublime means the whole process. Means does not matter how bad my heart is, how bad desire, horrible desire I may have. By this process, it can disappear completely. Literally disappear. So Prabhupada said, but you have to have a faith on it. Now, how it will work? Proportion to your conscious acceptance. How much you believe it? Ask yourself. Like Bhagavan Das asked a question to Prabhupada. It's in the Vedabase letter, you can look at it if you need to. In the temple, everybody is chanting. Is everybody getting the same result? Srila Prabhupada, in answer, very nice, scientific way he answers. He said, when someone connects with the absolute truth, then he add this sentence. That's where I got this. Proportion to your conscious acceptance will produce the result. How much you believe, how much you accept it. Now, if you say, I really don't see much effect, well, you don't have faith. What is faith then? Believing, trusting that word, that it will work. And you act on that platform, you chanting seriously, you will see it works. So that's why Prabhupada writes in second chapter, 41 verse, faith means unflinching trust in something sublime. Okay, I think we talked enough about faith. So then the third verse, that was the third verse. Fourth verse, what is the mysterious about this relationship between Krishna and Arjuna, between you and Krishna? What is the mysterious about it? And we discussed that very nicely. I think 2 weeks, no, maybe 1 week we did that. And then text 5 was this complex between these two confusing, well, let me see. If I read, see if we can catch it. Krishna says very interestingly, let me see where it is. Here it is. Krishna says, by me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. So let's see. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I'm not in them. So all of us are in Krishna, but he's not in us. Interesting. Now, if you go to the next verse, I'm not going to go through, we went 2 weeks on that. Yet everything is created does not rest in me. Before he said it rests in me, but now he said does not rest in me. It's very mysterious. Then he writes, the proper translate, behold my mystic opulence, although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation. Okay, with that note, I hope you all remember something about those 2 verses. We are going to discuss text 6. Who would like to help me with reading the sloka and the translation and the purport? Anyone has the book in front?
I have Prabhu, I can read if you'd like me to.
Okay. You can go ahead and read, Mother Anastasia.
Yatta kashchit to nityam vayu sarvatra go mahan tatha sarvani bhutani matthani chupadharayam. Understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, all created beings rest in me.
Interesting. Now Krishna says in this verse, all created being rest in me. And what was the previous verse he said? Can you read the previous translation, previous verse?
And yet everything that is created does not rest in me.
So previous verse said does not rest in me. Now in this verse says everything rests in him. Very nice. When you meet Krishna, you can ask him, Prabhu, I don't understand. Seems like contradictory. Okay, go ahead, the purport.
For the ordinary person, it is almost inconceivable how the huge material creation is resting in him. But the Lord is giving an example which may help us to understand. The sky may be the biggest manifestation we can conceive. And in that sky, the wind or air is the biggest manifestation in the cosmic world. The movement of the air influences the movements of everything. But although the wind is great, it is still situated within the sky. The wind is not beyond the sky. Similarly, all the wonderful cosmic manifestations are existing by the supreme will of God, and all of them are subordinate to that supreme will. As we generally say, not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, everything is moving under His will. By His will, everything is being created, everything is being maintained, and everything is being annihilated. Still, He is aloof from everything, as the sky is always aloof from the activities of the wind. In the Upanishads, it is stated, Yad Kishava Tahvavatem. It is out of the fear of the Supreme Lord that the wind is blowing. Tait, Tiriya Upanishad 2.8.1. In the Brihat Paranyaka Upanishad 3.8.9, it is stated, Etasya va aksharasya prashasane gargi surya chandramasau vidritau tishthata etasya va aksharasya prashasane gargi vyaftar prithivav vitritau tishthataha. By the supreme order, under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the moon, the sun, and the other great planets are moving. In the Brahma Samhita 552 also it is stated, Yachakshur esha savita sakala grahanam raja samasta suramurti rashesha teja yasyagnya yabrahmati samvrita kala chakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. This is a description of the movement of the sun. It is said that the sun is considered to be one of the eyes of the Supreme Lord, and that it has immense potency to diffuse heat and light. Still, it is moving in its prescribed orbit by the order and the supreme will of Govinda. So from the Vedic literature, we can find evidence that this material manifestation, which appears to us to be very wonderful and great, is under the complete control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This will be further explained in the later verses of this chapter.
Thank you. So this is a beautiful purport that we must understand. As the mighty wind blowing everywhere, rest always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. Now here the word Krishna used, Jatha Kasho Stito Nitam, just as situated in the sky. Akasha Stito. Akash means space, sky. Stito means exists or situation. What is situated in the sky? Vayu Sarvatra Go Mahan. The Vayu, the wind, Sarvatra Go. Sarvatra go, the wind flows everywhere. Mahan, it is great. It is powerful. The wind can blow in all directions. But still, the wind is situated in the sky. Similarly, Tatha Sarvani Bhutani. Similarly, all living beings, Matstani Upadharaya, are situated in me. So what is this refers to? This refers to restriction, not on movement, but the perimeter overall area of movement. When we talk about the word sky, what it is referring to over here, sometime word akash, come, these are translated differently. From modern scientist, perspective, there is no such thing as sky. What we see in the sky is illusion because it is just extending space forever and ever. So Sanskrit terms, they are not very easily translatable in English. We discussed earlier, other day I remember, that word, avatar, we use avatar, cannot be accurately translated as incarnation because it is not a flash. It is not in flash, but Srila Prabhupada used familiar handles for unfamiliar concept. So as not to complicate things, as we discussed earlier, that terms are verbal and accepts are mental. So terms are handles for concepts. If I have to carry something, if there is a handle, I can carry it easily. So similarly, terms helps us to communicate easily. Terms are handles for concept. So generally, if the concept is new, like nobody knows, the terms is also new, then it will become more difficult for people to appreciate. So what Srila Prabhupada used to do when foreign concept has to be conveyed for Western audience or for people, that means the concept are in Vedic thought, they are in Sanskrit terminology. Then while conveying it spiritual, Srila Prabhupada, I notice, will use familiar handles, familiar terms, even if those terms are not accurate, because those terms have different meaning in English. Then what was conveyed by Sanskrit meaning? So Srila Prabhupada often used that. Why? To make sure that people understand the point easily, at least get the start of understanding the point. So Srila Prabhupada preferred familiar handle to unfamiliar concept so that understanding would move forward from basic point of view. Now the point we talk here, the Akash, the sky, from scientific point of view, there is no such thing as sky. But in general conversation point of view, yes, we see a sky. We look up, see the sky. Now the air moves around the sky. If we have a large ball, we put it upside down, it will be something like a dome, which covers things. So inside the ball, the air is able to move around in all directions, ups, down, right, left. But its area of movement, its parameter, you can say, of movement is limited. It's like the soul in this world, Matstani. Krishna has used the word Matsta, the previous verse, Mastani, 3 times. If we look at in 9.4, 9.5, and then Matstani, Sarva Bhutani. Then again, Nacho Matstani Bhutani. Then again, 9.6, again Krishna used Matstani Upadharaya. That word Matstani is like in 3 verses. So it is actually situated in me. Krishna is talking. So Krishna is using it 3 times here. What is he conveyed by this? The apparent contradiction in previous and now in the sloka 4, sloka 5, Krishna is showing how the higher understanding reconciles it. So Sri Krishna says that all living entities are situated in me. What does it mean? Krishna says that I have given them freedom within limitation. So for living entities here, there is unlimited freedom with limited framework. Does that make sense? Everybody understand? Just like a big ball, you put it upside down. Now within the ball, the air is going up, down, here, there. Do they have a freedom? Yeah, they have a freedom, but within the ball, not outside. So like that, for example, a horse is tied, to a pole. So within the radius of the pole, you can see some horse farm, they do that. Or till the rope extent, you can say, the horse has freedom. How much freedom? As much the rope can go. He can go this side, that side. He jumps, goes like this, sit down. Okay, he has a freedom. But it's controlled by the rope. So similarly, you can say, the horse can have also unlimited freedom. He can jump, he can go back and forth, he can go round and round like this. So living entity has a unlimited freedom within limited framework. If I want to jump right now in the sky, I can't. I can for a moment. But if I want to fly, I cannot. I need an airplane or a bird body, then I can fly. So similarly, that we have a freedom, but also it is within limited, not like. So this is the idea that Krishna is explaining. The word Akash is technically ether. Because ether is, you can say, substratum where everything is present. Whatever movement happens, it happens with that substratum, with ether provides. But we can use sky in the conventional sense over here. In temple or the devotee, they always use the word sky or space. So then Krishna says, Tatha sarvani bhutani matstani upadharaya. All living beings are situated in me. It means they are given freedom by me. Within the freedom that I give them freedom, they can act. So they have a freedom within limited framework. I hope it's clear to everyone. For an example, we are sitting and discussing this class right now through the Zoom. If one wants, he may walk away from here and sleep during this class also, or walk away mentally during the class and go anywhere. We can do whatever we want. We have a freedom. There is a limitation by the human body. We can go, we cannot suddenly fly in the sky, as I mentioned before, but there is some limitation. But within that limitation, there is also unlimited freedom, you can say. You can scratch your back, you can put your hand on your head, you can go like this, you can literally do so many things. So you have a freedom. Krishna is describing mystical relationship that there is matstani, nacha matstani. How that is reconciled by having such restriction and some freedom. When Krishna doing this, he does this based on his compassion. Normally, when parent maintain a child, parent may be attached to the child, but Krishna does not become attached. What Krishna is having is yogam aishwaram. That's the word he used. Yogam aishwaram. See my mystical potency. So if it is mystical potency, then what is the mystical about it? You may think like, what is mystical about it? Well, if it can be explained by an example like air and sky, then it is no longer inconceivable. But actually, it is inconceivable because neither the sky nor the air are conscious. So when there is a consciousness, there is attraction, then affection, then attachment develops. So Krishna does not become attached to living being, although he maintains all living beings. He is not attached to them, that capacity to maintain without being attached. That is inconceivability of Krishna's relation with the material world. Now, Srila Prabhupada quotes here that Mother Anastasia just read, the point of how the Lord is in control, Matstani. So he quotes several verses. He quotes Taittiriya Upanishad 281. Jad Vayesha Jata Pavate. It is out of fear of the Supreme Lord, the wind is blowing. Jata Visha. Visha refers to fear. Vata. Pavate. Wind blows out of fear of the Lord. Then Srila Prabhupada also quote Brihad Aranyak Upanishad. Etasya va aksharasya prashasane gargi surja chandramaso vidruto tishtato etasya va aksharasya prashasane gargi dva aprithabha vidrito tishtataha. Means by the supreme order, under the superintendent of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, the moon, the sun, the other great planets are moving. Srila Prabhupada referred Brahma Samhita for the same point. So now question is, I hope some of you, all of you got that point. The Krishna determines the scope of our action, not our action themselves. Some people may ask, if God is the supreme controller, does his controllership means that whatever we do, he is controlling us or compelling us to do that? I don't know if some of you ever thought that. No. What I understand, no. Krishna is the supreme controller, but not the sole controller. By his sweet will, he has given all of us free will. It's a minute, but still it's a free will. And based on our individual past karma, he gives each one of us a certain area of control. In Sanskrit, when we come to chapter 14, we'll see that word is there, Shkatra. Kshatrajya and Kshatra. Shkatra. Shkatra means field, this body. So what we do within that allotted area is up to us. Your life is given this much happiness, this much suffering. Hey, you're going to get gray hair, whether you like or not. How you react is up to you. That is not controlled by Krishna. If you say it's okay, I got gray hair, I'll dye it with black, whatever, I don't know, somebody does it. And if you say, I don't care, gray hair, everybody can see, it's up to you. That Krishna does not control. How you're going to take it, how you're going to react on it. But as for the gray hair, that is, hey, predestined. It is not up to you. So whatever we do has to be sanctioned by Krishna. But it is not impelled by him. Let's take an example. When someone becomes violently abusive, I'm just giving a bad example so that you can grasp it. Now, Krishna does not want them to act that way. So what Krishna does? But that soul, that abuser, he want to. So Krishna allows him within their area of control. And for their grievous misuse of free will, that person will duly get proportionate karmic consequences. I'm hurting someone, somebody will hurt me. I'm going to suffer for that. So to illustrate how our will rests within Krishna's will, this verse, Bhagavad Gita, this verse, that 6, is very nice verse. If you meditate more on this, you will see that. This verse gives the example of wind moving within the sky. So if we envision the sky as an upside down ball, as I mentioned, then the sky determines and delimits the area of the movement of the air, not the direction of its movement. I mean, the air within the ball can go up, down, left, right, this way, that way, many ways. But within that, so within the sky, the air can move up and down, left or right. So Krishna's will is like the sky, and our will, each of our will, is like the wind. He limits the scope of our action, but within that scope, we control what we do. Claiming that Krishna is doing what we are doing leads to several, Prabhus and mothers, problematic questions. Don't think that way, please. Why should we be held morally or legally accountable for our actions? It's like a joke. Not a joke, it's a real story. The Prabhupada gives that when one drunk truck driver killed a person. And then in the court, he says, it is not my fault. It was the alcohol who made me like this. So then the judge asked, who drank the alcohol? He said, I drank. Okay, then you go to jail. It is not the alcohol fault. It is your fault that you took it. So if you think very deeply like this, it makes sense. You cannot ask, why should we learn ethics? We should be held morally and legally accountable for our action. Yes. Indeed, why should Krishna speak Gita at all? For our benefit. He didn't need to speak Bhagavad Gita to make us understand, because he cared for us. He wants us to understand and be responsible and go back home. So by understanding that we are responsible for our action, we can become determined to seek guidance from Krishna through Bhagavad Gita and thereby make healthy choices. And it is 6 o'clock. 1 hour exactly. Okay, any takeaway or further discussion on this? I think it's very clear. Yes, Mother Ina.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I had a question when you were discussing faith.
Faith.
Yes, faith.
Can you make it little louder, maybe? Okay.
So when we were discussing faith, can you hear me better?
Yeah, that's better.
I say you have to have faith, it will happen. Krishna basically, but how much it depends on the person to act, in some cases, as you gave the example, somebody runs and grabs you and, you think of the ways to get out, but then do you think of Krishna? How much it depends on the person to act and how much it's just on the face that, oh, it will happen by itself. sometimes I personally have this, confusion within me. And I think if I won't act, it's also said that we are, hands of God, we are the ones who acting, on behalf of Krishna here, doing something for others, and things like this. So how much is the faith? Oh, everything will happen. This, or it's only faith depending on your relationship with Krishna, or it's faith about, some material things too, that they will happen, God will give, not to worry about them, or how much of personal effort we still have to give into it. And when is the point that, oh, I have to act here, or I have to let it on Krishna's mercy? Complicated.
It's interesting, because faith is a one subject, it will never end. More we discuss, more we want to discuss, because it's always very, I mean, it's not that it is not clear, but it is like never ending discussion. Because we find sometime our faith is like attacked internally or externally. And what are we supposed to do? We think like that. Now, practically, if we see those who have strong faith, they are very more joyful. Those who have a weak faith, they are not that much joyful spiritually. I don't mean materially. Now, faith, the word faith is actually eternal. Faith is not something new. If someone tells me, I don't have faith in God at all, I don't believe in God, that is also faith, that there is no God. Faith is eternal. Faith is, so when we say we need more faith, means shifting our faith from other things to Krishna. That's all it meant. It's not that we don't have faith, or we say we get faith from Guru and Krishna because they give explanation and they connect where we are, and then we say, oh, it makes sense. Okay, I'll do it. We get convince ourselves, so we act on it, and then we see that it works. So faith is eternal. Without faith, I give you a very, very crude example. I saw in, I forgot where it was. We had a online Zoom class, and then somebody sent me something, that rope, where there was a heavy current river, and this person is going to walk on the single rope. And if he fall by mistake, he will be really like, he may die. But he is been practicing this for years and years and is very good at it. So then he was showing some like a on an open field, he would bring a rope and two posts, and he would walk. And then he started carrying his baby. But before he was carrying his baby, he was asking the audience, you think I can do it? And some of the people said, yes, you can do it, because you did it before. He said, but this time with the baby. He said, yes, you can do it. So they encouraged him. Then he asked, do you have a faith on me that I can actually cross? He said, yes, you can do it. So he finally did it. And everybody said, wow. Then he said, now I have to go back to the other side. Can I do it? They say, of course you can do it. You just did it. You came. He said, but this time I want to carry your baby with me, not my baby. Would you guess how many people came forward to give their baby? Anybody would guess?
Not a single one.
Not a single
Zero, no one.
Yeah. So then he asked that question. Wait a minute, you are inspiring. You said, yes, you can do it. You have a faith on me. Was it really faith on me? Now, next I worked with my own child and I did it because you all inspired. Now I want to go back. How I came, I want to go back on the rope. But I said, let me take your baby with me and cross. What happened? What happened? All the inspiration, all the faith, all the trust, all the belief that you have. So, so the point is, inspiration. Of course, our Acharya, when they inspire us, they know that it is possible. They did it. As Mathura Prabhu or another person also said, like more you do it, more you experience, your faith develops. It's true. It's very true. So more we practice and more we pray, and we see that protection is working. I mean, to be honestly, my personal life, I'm a horrible person. I have all this lust, greed, anger, madness, illusion, envy. It's all there. But some or other, Krishna kept me going. And I see that these things like Krishna just takes away. And it works. Definitely, this process, 100% it works. It doesn't matter. A rascal, demoniac nature like me, if I can get some purification, I really, I'm not bragging about it, but I have a strong faith on this. This process works for sure. But the word itself will not be enough. You really have to act on it. And as you grow, you will see actually it is working. And then you go further, and then you go further, and you go further. That's how gradually it comes. Anything, any good association. And also it can go also the other way. Now, if you say wrong way like you have a bad association, like people who doesn't have a faith on chanting, who doesn't have a faith on Krishna consciousness, their association also as effective as the good association. Because negativity literally can make you lose faith. I'm not trying to scare you, but it's a fact. So it is good always who you associate. Are they on the same path? Are they actually getting to the same point? And are they have a stumble block and they don't want to go or cross that? Challenges will come. By the way, just I'm not trying to scare you, but it is a fact. Please write it down. I mentioned this many times before also. Progression means new selection and elimination. Progression means new selection and new elimination. So when you're progressing, challenge will come. People will accuse you for something you never even dreamed of. What do? Fight? No, don't fight. This is my suggestion. Don't fight. Because Krishna is, Krishna is going to empower you. Krishna is going to help you, provided he is looking for you to come more closer to him. And as you go more closer, Maya Devi also has a new trap, bigger trap, somewhere. So more you focus on Krishna, the Maya's trap is also bigger. And eventually you go parallel, side by side, and in one point, Krishna really will uplift you. You are out. But saying is easy, sounds like it's easy, but it takes little time. So the best thing we can do, keep on practicing, have a good association, and do these 5 things. I mentioned these 5 things always. Do these 5 things every day, compulsory. If you do this, Krishna will give you these 2 things. 5 things are: listen Krishna, aware of Krishna, also allow others to hear about Krishna. So first thing is hear about Krishna, see his relationship. Second, become his devotee. Now I may think like I am his devotee. No, think, am I devotee? How can I be more close devotee? How can I be more better devotee? How can I go closer to Krishna? Am I respecting other devotees? If I'm not respecting other devotee who belongs to Krishna, then I'm not advancing. It is not Krishna is not a one person. Krishna is surrounded by his devotees. He's eternally surrounded by his devotees. So loving, reciprocating with other devotees is as important as loving Krishna, because through them, loving Krishna is very attractive. Krishna likes that. Prabhupada did show that example. Okay, so that's second, becoming his devotee. Third is serving. Do something practical every day to please him. Fourth is surrender to him. Well, I'm already surrendered. Well, you can check it every day. Am I doing things that will please Prabhupada and Krishna? This is the first thing. Anukulyasya Sankalpa. Next is Pratikulyasya Varjana. Am I not doing things that also please them? Yes, I'm not breaking four equality principle. I'm not meditating on impersonalism. I'm meditating on personal God. These are very good. I don't want to do, when you do this, you have to have an inclusive, exclusive. I want to think of Krishna's beautiful form. I don't want to think of impersonal form. I mean, impersonal doesn't have a form, but I don't want to think about it. Like this, you make constant, positive, negative, and then share with others. That's it. These 5 things you do, Krishna will give you love of God, and you will be with Krishna in the spiritual world, guaranteed. If you have Bhagavad Gita 1868, Krishna gives this word. It's not my word, it's Krishna's word. I'm just repeating. Krishna gave that assurance that if you know this confidential knowledge, these 5 things are confidential. The whole 1864 to 69, these are all confidential. These 5, 6 verses, very confidential. So 68, it says, Jaidam paramam guyam madbhaktishu abhidhashyati. Bhaktim mayi param kritta mame vasyasya samsaya. If you explain this, or if you know these secrets and you're sharing with others, then you will get love for me, love of God, and you will come back to me without fail. You see, the word is there, asamshaya. Asamshaya means without doubt. The 1868. Okay, is that make sense, Mother Ina?
Yes, thank you very much. It's more sense than I imagined.
Thank you.
But one question from there. When you say it will selection and elimination, is it referring only to people or all to actions, to habits, to everything in life? Selection and elimination.
Yes, everything. It can be a thing, it can be a person. You may have a friend who does not appreciate bhakti. You may lose the friendship. It's okay.
You
And you may
yourself,
find somebody who really loves Krishna. You are not that close, but you may find like, maybe I should spend some time talking to that person who actually has so much love for Krishna. It's good. So you will have when we say progression means elimination and selection, means you may have a new friend. You may have a new idea, new way to progress further and bring more people. It's like a constant. It's like a whole journey, whole life journey.
What about family members?
Family member also. You create an atmosphere where they will be appreciating. Elimination doesn't mean that you reject. Elimination means you don't want to think negative. You think that Krishna can empower, Krishna can attract them if you pray for them. Family member, okay, they are not devotee yet. I pray to Krishna to bring that soul back to his lotus feet. You pray to Prabhupada. When you do this, believe me, it works. It is mystical works. But Krishna wants to see that you really care for that person. Then you pray, then Krishna will mystically happen, will inspire from within. Prabhupada said in one purport, he says, when pure devotee walks by or sincere devotee walks by, Krishna tells all these people around, hey, go take shelter, listen to this person. Krishna really inspired them. Whether they pay attention or not, I don't know, individual. And then also he tells the devotee, give them blessing, talk to them about me. Like that, Krishna 24 hours a day, Krishna really thinking about every soul's ultimate benefit. Krishna never give up. So when you care for your family member, pray for them. No need to force. Nobody should be forced. They should be attractive way attracted. You make a nice prasadam. Give them a nice cake, Krishna prasad. They will say, wow, that's nice prasadam. Not necessarily cake, I'm just throwing a cake. Just any nice prasadam. People are attracted to. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Prabhus and mothers, thank you for joining. We are looking forward to see you all next Wednesday. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpataru vishya kripa sindhu vaivacha patitanam pavani Vishnu vibho namo.